Welcome to the #1 source for information, news, and opinion on your Columbus Blue Jackets. This is CBJin30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. You can also find the audio version on the CBJ Radio SoundCloud page, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play Music, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Now here's your host, Bob McElligott.
Oh, what a night it was for the Blue Jackets in Game 1 of their Stanley Cup qualifying series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not only did the Blue Jackets win the game to take a 1-0 lead in the best-of-5 series, but the way they won it was most impressive. I can give you 0 reasons that Joonas Korpisalo was selected as the starting goalie over Elvis Merzlikins. 0 reasons. But that 0 was on the scoreboard because Korpisalo became the first Blue Jackets goalie ever to post a shutout in the postseason. He posted a postseason shutout. It's not been done. Well, it wasn't done. It's been done now. Welcome to a Monday Mailbag edition of CBJin30 presented by Telhio Credit Union. Got lots of questions. Well, you have lots of questions. I've got lots of answers. You might like some of them. You might not like some of them. We'll find out as we go along. Right now, I want to tell you about Telhio Credit Union, a place where they have been putting people over profits for a long time. It's nothing new to them. They've done it since 1934. You don't need to settle for a normal bank. I mean, what's a normal bank? Normal, boring. Do they even have what you need? You don't know. They're just normal. You're not really looking into it. Well, you should look into this. You should look into Telhio Credit Union because instead of a normal bank, you could have a credit union that puts you first. Numero uno. The number of goals that Cam Atkinson and Alexander Wenberg both had last night. Check out telhio.org and find out all about Telhio Credit Union. What a game it was for the Blue Jackets last evening. Again, there were so many things about that game. First of all, John Tortorella announced late yesterday morning that Joonas Korpisalo would be the starter and not Elvis Merzlikins. Now, before I say what I'm going to say, I just want to clarify my deal here, my opinion, my statement, my position, whatever you want to call it. I just want you to know, and if you don't believe me, you can go back and listen to this show for the last 2 weeks. First of all, let's start right there. If you didn't know that Joonas Korpisalo was going to be the starter, you have not listened to me for the last 2 weeks. It's as simple as that. I don't know what propaganda you've been fed. I don't know what you're reading and buying into. I'm not sure, but you were not listening to me because I've told you time and time and time again. I told you what I would do. I told you what I think John Tortorella would do. Do you think I just come up with this because I want to say something that is contrary to everybody else? Do you think I'm trying to get clicks here? Do you think I'm just trying to get more views here? No. I'm just telling you the truth. Being around this man, understanding how he operates as best that I can, I was not surprised, and I've told you for 2 weeks, I would not be surprised if Joonas Korpisalo was the starting goalie. I told you when it was being written, and then talked about, get it? Written and then talked about, that he was giving up so many goals in those scrimmage games. I told you don't worry about it. I told you he was the best goalie in the last scrimmage game that they played before they departed for Toronto. I told you he was good against the Boston Bruins when he stopped 11 shots the other night. Did I know he would be as good as he was last night? No, I didn't. Because you never know if a young man will succumb to the pressure of playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the very first time. You never know if that other team that is full of terrific offense will find it and make it really tough on you. So you don't know that. But hindsight being 2020, he was terrific. Terrific. What a choice by John Tortorella and his coaching staff and that includes the goaltending coach, Manny Legacy. What a choice. They put him into a position to succeed, and for that game, he succeeded. There are a lot more games. I get it. I know. But he succeeded in a big way. He had a couple of really outstanding saves, but none bigger than when William Nylander was behind him, below the goal line, and he was looking over his right shoulder, trying to figure out where Nylander was. And the pass came out between the circles to Austin Matthews, and the shot was way back to his left. And he lunged, he shuffled, he got across, and made the save with the glove hand. His best save of the night, by far. By far. It was terrific. And I'm happy for him. And I know his teammates are happy for him. You know how I know that his teammates are happy for him? Because they talked about it after the game last night. Seth Jones, who in his own way was a beast in that game for the Blue Jackets last night. An absolute beast. Just taking care of anything that came near him. You don't believe me? Ask Zach Hyman, forward of the Maple Leafs, who is probably still icing the bruises that he picked up courtesy of Seth Jones in that game last night. Seth Jones, one of the first guys to talk about Jonas Korpisalo and what a big contribution he made to that game last night.
Nothing we didn't expect. Corpy is a competitor. He's a hell of a goalie, and he made massive saves when we needed him the most tonight. Kept us in it. They had some chances when it was 0-0, 3 or 4 of them right in the slot. To save on Matthews is probably one of the best of the night, and we're extremely happy for him. He's come a long way, and he's done his time behind Bob for years now, and it's finally his chance. And coming off the injury, his first game back, it's unbelievable for him. We're happy.
His teammates love him. They respect him. They know what he's gone through to earn the job, and they are happy for him. They're happy for themselves too, but they're happy for him. Now look, Korpisalo stopping all those shots, 28 shots. By the way, none of them came in the last 6 minutes and 12 seconds of regulation. You believe that? What a defensive effort by the Blue Jackets to shut down that offense, that high-powered offense, to shut them down in a 1-0 game for over 6 minutes at the end when they should have been buzzing faster and harder than ever. What a testament to the way Seth Jones and his teammates played defense in that game. But it doesn't matter how good you play defense. It doesn't matter how well you tend goal if you can't score a goal, because if you don't score, you don't win. And the Blue Jackets have trouble scoring. They went into the third period without a goal. And then 1 minute and 5 seconds in, lo and behold, the Blue Jackets, they start the period trapped in their own zone. They get the puck. They outlet it to Cam Atkinson. He comes in, takes a shot from the right wing side, and finds just enough of an opening between the right arm of Frederik Andersen and his body. Finds enough of a hole. Puck gets through. It goes in the net. It's a 1-0 game. A huge lead. A 1-goal lead was a huge lead at that time for the Blue Jackets. And a great goal for a guy that is being counted upon heavily to carry the Blue Jackets a long way in these playoffs. Cam Atkinson talked about his goal after the game.
I closed my arms. I kind of knew where I wanted to shoot. I wasn't really expecting it to go in, but obviously one of those I'll take. And a goal like that kind of gives me a lot of momentum and juice, and started feeling a lot better about my game after that.
So Atkinson gets his goal, and again, we talked about the fact he would have to have a big playoffs. That there was a lot of pressure on him. And the other guy was Alexander Wenberg, who was a defensive machine all night long. And then at the very end was in position for Nick Foligno to lay a puck out in open ice. And Alexander was there to pick it up and put it into the net for the empty net goal, sealing the deal and giving the Blue Jackets a 1-0 lead in the best-of-5 series. So that is your game recap, brought to you by Moo Moo Express Car Wash, home of the Unlimited Wash Club. Big victory, big time victory for the Blue Jackets last night. I mean, you get into these best of 5 series, and history shows that 80% of the teams that win game 1 win the whole thing. Doesn't mean the Blue Jackets are going to win the whole thing. Don't count on that. We've seen them up 2-0 in a best of 7 and not win another game. Don't count on anything unless they keep playing like they did last night, and then you can count on everything. I'll tell you that right now. All right, your questions. It is a Monday Mailbag. Your questions. Let's get to them. They've come to me in different ways, either via Twitter at BobbyMacSports or like this one, a voice question that was emailed to me at BobbyMac@BlueJackets.com, BOBBYMAC @BlueJackets.com. Here is your first question.
Hey, Bob. This is Greg in Mentor, Ohio. First off, just want to thank you for all the work you're doing. These podcasts are coming fast and furious, so certainly appreciate all this content right now. The other thing, I am so glad we have gone several podcasts now without hearing questions about resurrecting extinct trophies and dead medals. So glad we're past that point. If the Jackets were able to pull this whole thing off, I don't care how short the season is, I would still be over the moon about this. So, on to my question. It's no mystery, no secret that John Tortorella does not like dealing with the media. However, when you sit down with him, because you are an in-house employee, so to speak, is it any different in setting up an interview with him in that case? Does he react to you differently than he does somebody from, let's say, the Columbus media?
Well, yes is the answer. And by the way, to say that John Tortorella does not enjoy talking to the media, I don't think that's fair. I think there's part of him that enjoys it. He'd never admit to that, but I think there's part of him that enjoys it. He likes to spar with people at times. But what he's really good at is deflecting from his team and getting the attention put on him, especially in times where they could take a lot of heat. He would rather take the heat than them take the heat. So, yeah, I mean, he gets grouchy at times, of course, but for the most part with me, it's completely different. And that comes through in the conversations that we have. Again, I think we understand each other. Don't think there are any secrets. We both worked very hard to get to where we are in our respective fields, and I have great respect for him, and he has respect for me and the way that I did it, and I in the way that he did it. And yeah, he's just, look, I just look at him as, first of all, I look at him as somebody that I am very fortunate to work with. He's a legend in this game, absolute legend. People like him or don't like him, I don't care. He's a legend, but he is a great person, and I consider him to be a friend. So I'm lucky enough to work for the team and work with him and interact with him all the time. But we have a trust between us. And look, he's got to trust me. In my job, if he doesn't trust me, I don't get anything good to pass along to you. He doesn't give me the great answers unless he and I have a relationship and a trust factor. So he trusts me, and I really appreciate that a lot. And there are other people in the media he trusts. He's got to be able to get close enough to them to appreciate it. And, we go back down to Tampa and see the people that he talks to a lot there in their media that he developed a trust with in those years. We go to New York and see who he talks to. There are people. Some of it's an act because some of it has to be with him. But he's a great person. He's a fantastic guy. And does he treat me differently? For the most part, yeah. Some days when he's cranky no matter if it's one of them or one of me. It doesn't matter. He's cranky at everybody. All right, let's get another voice question in here.
Hey, Bob. Cameron Maynard from Belfry, Kentucky. Man, what a nice playoff win that was tonight. The goaltending was great. Corby was great, obviously. The defense was great. Jones, Werenski, Cam, like the big guns for us, the players who needed to show up for the Blue Jackets showed up tonight. And it was just an all-around team win, in my opinion. I feel like if we play like we did tonight and like we did in the exhibition against the Bruins last week, I feel like we can beat anybody in these playoffs and win a Stanley Cup. So I'm really happy and pleased with the performance tonight. But I have a question for you. So I've heard people on CBJin30 Monday Mailbag do impressions of you calling goals on the radio. And I just want to ask how your call of the Atkinson goal and the Winberg goal was. I know you have called goals different ways before. I know, I would like to think I have a pretty good impression of it. He takes a quick shot, and he shoots and scores. Takes a quick shot, he scores. Was it which one of those ways did you call the Atkinson and the Winberg goal? I'd say however it was pretty good. But I just want to get your thoughts on that. Thanks. Look forward to answering my question. Goodbye.
Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate that. The Atkinson goal, I was a bit surprised, and why wouldn't you be? Because there's no goals at that point in the game, and he's coming down the wing, and it looks like it's going to be an easy stop. So that one, first of all, Cameron, you know that both of those impressions sounded the same, right? I just want to make sure you know that. And I'm not saying that to pick on you. I'm just saying without question, they sounded the same. So, anyway, the Cam Atkinson is, oh, yes, he Cam. I fired that one out. The big scores before that. And the Alexander Winberg was calling the dogs put out the fire because that game was over at that point with 2-0. But, I would work on it a little bit more if I was you. And you're probably rusty. I'm still a little bit rusty. So we're all just trying to get back to where we need to be. But thank you for the impressions. I do. I really appreciate it. I swear to you, I do. Let's see here. On Twitter, at Bobby Mac Sports, Donald Bradner. Donald says, I'll take that win. Did you see anything tonight that would lead you to believe the Torch will make any roster moves before Tuesday afternoon? A lot of fans were missing Nathan Gerby. I wasn't one of them. Donald, I unless there was somebody that got hurt that we don't know about, no, I don't see any lineup changes. Look, Nathan Gerby's a great player. Nathan Gerby he did great things for this team this year. But Liam Foudy, again, was noticeable in everything he did, I thought. So I cannot foresee one lineup change. Again, barring anybody getting nicked up, as Torch likes to say, without us knowing about it. I don't see it. I think everybody that played in that game deserves to play in the next game. That's what I think. Not just because it was 2-0 shutout. It was balanced. It was roll the lines. It was everybody was responsible. I liked how they played. I mean, I loved the result, but I liked how they played, and I don't see anybody coming out of that lineup. But I know why you asked me, because if anybody knows, I would know. Melissa O'Toole says, are the qualifiers and round robins determining where the teams on the East and West are going to land on their respective top 8, no matter the division? I'm just curious how it will look once these rounds are over. Melissa, that is a good question, and the answer is yes. There's not going to be division alignment this year, as there has been in the past. First of all, those top 4 teams are going to play. You'll play each of the other teams one time, and points will be awarded, and then there will be a reseed if necessary there. So you got Boston, mental block, Boston, Tampa, Washington, Philadelphia. So they'll play, and Boston was the number 1 seed in the East, but they could slip depending upon the outcome of their round robin, and they lost yesterday to Philadelphia. They had to play without Tuukka Rask. They said he was ill, but they didn't seem to think it was anything that was going to be long-term. So they had to do without him. So if they slip, then somebody else would be the number 1 seed. The Blue Jackets will be the 8th. If they're able to beat Toronto, they will be the 8th. But with every round now, the teams will reseed. And the higher seeds, will take on like in the last couple of years, you played within the division. The first 2 series, were within the division, regardless of what the seedings were in the other division. That won't be the case. Everybody will be lumped into one in the East, and everybody will be lumped into one in the West, which is much nicer. And that's the way I think it's better that way anyway. But, with travel concerns and trying to create rivalries and stuff, they've done it within the division the last few years. Mark Carell II says, they say this isn't the playoffs, but the stats count as playoffs. In my opinion, tonight's result is the first ever Jackets playoff shutout. Do you agree, or do we need to wait until there are 16 teams? No, these stats are counting as playoff stats. Say what you want to. It is the postseason. They are counting these stats as playoff stats. So it counts. It's the first Blue Jackets shutout in the playoffs. End of discussion, right? There's nothing more to talk about with that. As the saying goes, it is what it is. All right, next question. Dylan. I don't know when this was. Well, no, this was sent late. So anyhow, I was just surprised by the question. Maybe if I tell you the question, you'll see why I was surprised. How do you feel about Korpisalo starting in net over Elvis? Thanks for the entertainment. Love listening every week. I think I told you right off the top how I feel about it. I feel it was the right thing to do. I felt it was the right thing to do for 2 weeks. I'm not a bandwagon guy. I didn't just jump on it because he got a shutout and won the first game of the playoff series. This is what I told you it should be. This is what it is. And now we'll move on without a goaltending controversy, at least for now. Not that there couldn't be one as we go along. There very well could be. But there sure as heck ain't one today. That I can tell you. James Ayers III says, with all the players in a bubble in the hotel rooms, are their rooms being cleaned by hotel staff, or are the players keeping things clean and changing their own bedding? And do the players have roommates, or does each player have their own room? Each player has their own room. They don't have roommates. But no, they are not changing their own bedding. And there is hotel staff. And maybe another question, if you were to ask a follow-up question, which is almost non-existent in today's National Hockey League, because of the way they do the interviews, nobody gets follow-up questions. But if you were to ask one, James, you would probably say, well, if there's hotel staff that is cleaning the rooms, how is that protecting the bubble? And I don't have the answer for that. I don't know if those hotel staffs are coming in and staying for set periods of time, or if they're in and out every day. I have no idea. I'm not there, so I don't know. But that would be a really good question. Actually, that question is probably better than your first one, but you needed the answer to the first one to lead to the second one. I get it. I know. So, again, it's a good question. If I can find that out, I will, because it's interesting, right? It's absolutely interesting. You talk about these bubbles and everything being contained, and you want to know how it's going to be contained. So anyway, that's good stuff, as they say. All of those things, all of those questions, all of that is good stuff. Take a look at the playoff leaders before hitting the road here. Playoff goal leaders after one game, Alexander Wenberg and Cam Atkinson. They each have one. So they lead the team. And Jonas Korpisalo leads in shutouts with one. Easy to do the leaders after one game, isn't it? Well, don't get too comfortable. Game 2 is coming up tomorrow. Not even at night. Tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock start for that game. Game 2, that'll be a very pivotal game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll tell you that, because I am guaranteeing you that the pressure has been cranked up in Toronto. The pressure to win. They were embarrassed. Look, the people there, the media there, that is an embarrassing loss for a team that has that much firepower. To be shut out by a guy that's never played in the Stanley Cup playoffs ever before. Yeah, that's an embarrassing loss for them. They'll be looking to bounce back tomorrow afternoon. Game time is 4 o'clock tomorrow. Our pregame coverage on the Blue Jackets radio network will begin at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So it's going to be great. It's like happy hour hockey, right? It really is. Pregame at 3, game starts at 4. Be done about, I don't know, barring any overtime, 6:30, 6:40, and hopefully enjoying another great evening off another great win. We'll find out all about that when we get there. But what a great game one that was. What a great start to the series. What a great experience for Jonas Korpisalo. And how great is it to have a healthy team, huh? Seriously. That I could have led with that, should have led with that probably, but how great is it to have a healthy team? The Blue Jackets are healthy. They're in the lead 1-0, but they have a lot left to do, and they get back to business tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Pregame at 3 on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. All right, that's going to do it for today's Monday Mailbag edition of CBJin30, presented by Telhio Credit Union. Until tomorrow, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long.